The coffee shop was nearly empty that Tuesday afternoon, just how I preferred it. I'd been coming here for weeks now, seeking refuge from the suffocating silence of my home. Marriage counseling pamphlets sat untouched in my briefcase, another failed attempt at fixing what felt increasingly broken. I was nursing my second espresso when she slid into the seat across from me. She was striking, the kind of woman who commanded attention without trying. Dark hair cascaded over her shoulders, and her eyes held a peculiar mixture of pain and determination. I looked up, confused, ready to tell her the seat was taken, but something in her expression stopped me. "Don't react," she said quietly, her voice steady despite the trembling of her hands around her cup. "Just listen. Your wife is having an affair with my partner. And I have proof." The words hung in the air between us like smoke. My first instinct was denial, but it caught in my throat. Those late nights Elena claimed she was working. The new perfume. The way she'd angle her phone away when texting. All the small signs I'd been desperately ignoring suddenly assembled themselves into an unbearable picture. "I don't know you," I managed, though my voice sounded foreign to my own ears. "No, you don't. But I know your wife. She works at Henderson and Associates, doesn't she? Corporate law." She pulled out her phone, swiping through photos with practiced efficiency. "This is her with my fiancé, Daniel. They've been meeting for 4 months." The images on her screen were damning. Elena, laughing in a way she hadn't laughed with me in years. Elena, her hand resting intimately on a man's arm outside a restaurant I'd never been to. Elena, kissing someone who wasn't me in what looked like an underground parking garage. I felt my world tilt sideways. "Why are you showing me this?" I asked, though part of me was already certain of the answer. "Because I'm tired of being the fool," she said, her jaw tightening. "I'm tired of the lies, the excuses, the feeling that I'm going crazy when my instincts scream the truth. And I suspect you are too." She was right. I'd felt like I was drowning for months, gasping for air in a marriage that had become a performance. "What do you want from me?" "Help," she said simply. "They think they're so clever, so careful. But they've made mistakes. Daniel works at your wife's firm. He's a consultant brought in for the Meridian merger. They got careless, comfortable. I've been documenting everything, but I need someone on the inside. Someone who knows Elena's patterns, her schedule, her passwords. You want me to spy on my own wife? I want us both to know the truth. Complete, undeniable truth. And then I want us to expose them in a way they can't wriggle out of or minimize. They've made fools of us. It's time they faced consequences." I should have walked away. Any rational person would have. But rationality had abandoned me the moment she'd sat down. In her eyes, I saw my own rage and hurt reflected back at me. Validation that I wasn't imagining things, that my pain was real and justified. "How do I know you're not lying?" I asked, though the question felt hollow. Those photos were too specific, too real. She pulled out a folder from her bag, sliding it across the table. "Hotel receipts charged to his credit card, the same nights your wife claimed she was working late. Text message transcripts. A witness statement from a bartender who's seen them together. I've done my homework." I opened the folder with shaking hands. Each page was another betrayal, meticulously documented. Elena's handwriting on a hotel notepad. Her signature on a guest registry. Messages that made my stomach turn. "They're planning a weekend away," she continued. 3 weeks from now, supposedly separate business trips. Hawaii for Elena, Seattle for Daniel. Except they've both booked rooms at the same resort in Maui. "How do you know all this?" She smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Daniel's password is our anniversary. Poetic, isn't it?" I looked at her, this beautiful stranger offering me the truth I'd been too afraid to seek. "I'm in," I heard myself say. Her name was Sophia, and over the next week, she became my unlikely partner in what felt like the world's most painful detective work. We met in discreet locations, different coffee shops, public parks, once in the reference section of a library where no one would think to look for us. She was methodical, organized in a way that suggested this wasn't purely emotional for her. She'd created spreadsheets tracking Daniel's movements, cross-referenced with Elena's calendar that I'd access from her laptop while she showered. Every meeting, every late night, every business dinner was catalogued and verified. "They've gotten lazy," Sophia explained during one of our meetings, her laptop screen illuminated with color-coded schedules. 4 months in, and they think they've covered their tracks. But look here, every Tuesday and Thursday, Daniel blocks out 2 hours for client meetings. No client names. No location. Just a recurring appointment. "Elena has yoga those nights," I said, the realization hitting me like a physical blow. "She bought a whole new workout wardrobe 2 months ago." "Has she gotten any fitter?" Sophia asked, her tone clinical despite the cruel nature of the question. I thought about it. No. If anything, she seems more tired. We both knew what that meant. The deeper we dug, the more elaborate their deception became. They'd created an entire alternate reality, complete with cover stories and alibis. Daniel had told Sophia he was helping his brother renovate a house, explaining the absences and the exhaustion. Elena had invented a demanding client, a fictional company called Westbrook Industries that required constant attention. There is no Westbrook Industries, I discovered after searching the business registry. It doesn't exist. Sophia had simply nodded, adding it to her documentation. But as we worked together, I began to notice inconsistencies in Sophia's story too. Small things at first, the way she dodged questions about her relationship history with Daniel, or how she seemed to know details about Henderson and Associates that went beyond what casual research would reveal. One evening, as we sat in my car outside Elena's office building, I decided to probe. "How long have you and Daniel been together?" 3 years, she answered, her eyes fixed on the building's entrance. "And you're engaged?" A pause, just a fraction too long. "Yes." "When's the wedding?" "We haven't set a date yet." Her tone had shifted, becoming defensive. "Sophia, I'm trusting you with my marriage, my life. I need you to be honest with me. Is there something you're not telling me?" She turned to face me then, and I saw something flicker across her face. Guilt, maybe, or calculation. "Daniel and I are complicated," she admitted. "We work together. The engagement is recent." "How recent?" 3 months. My mind raced. So he proposed, then started sleeping with my wife. It's not that simple. Then make it simple. Because right now, I'm wondering if I can trust anything you've told me. She took a deep breath, and I could see her weighing how much to reveal. Daniel and I have an unconventional relationship. We're together, yes, but we've had arrangements in the past. Open periods. But this time, he promised it would be different. He said he was ready to commit, to really build something permanent. The engagement was supposed to signal that. And then I discovered Elena. "So you're not just a scorned fiancé. You're angry because he broke your rules." "I'm angry because he lied," she snapped. "Whatever Daniel and I agreed to in the past, this affair with your wife is outside those boundaries. He's not just sleeping with her, he's building a life with her. Planning a future. That was supposed to be mine." Her honesty was stark, uncomfortable. But it also made sense of certain things. Her calm demeanor, the strategic rather than purely emotional approach. "There's more, isn't there?" I pressed. She hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Daniel works at Henderson and Associates, yes. But he's not a consultant. He's a partner. One of the senior partners." The implications crashed over me. He's Elena's boss. Effectively, yes. Though the firm tries to obscure the hierarchy. He has significant influence over her career, her assignments, her advancement. Jesus Christ. This isn't just an affair. This is a massive conflict of interest, potential sexual harassment liability, and grounds for termination, Sophia finished. For both of them. Which is why when we expose them, we'll destroy not just their relationship, but their careers. I stared at her, seeing her clearly for the first time. This wasn't about heartbreak. This was about revenge, calculated and complete. You want to ruin them. I want them to face consequences for their choices, she corrected. Don't you? Or are you content to just walk away, let them keep their jobs, their reputations, their happiness built on our suffering? She was right, and I hated her for it. Because somewhere in the past week, I'd started to hope that maybe confronting Elena would be enough. That we could go to counseling, rebuild what was broken. But Sophia's vision was scorched earth, and increasingly, it felt like the only proportional response to the magnitude of betrayal. The Hawaii trip, I said. That's when we do it. That's when we do it, she confirmed. The next 2 weeks passed in a strange limbo. I moved through my life like an actor playing a role, the unsuspecting husband, preparing for his wife's business trip. Elena seemed excited, energized in a way I hadn't seen in years. She bought new clothes, had her hair done, hummed while making coffee in the mornings. Each display of happiness was a knife to my chest. Sophia and I finalized our plan with the precision of military strategists. We'd booked ourselves on the same flight to Maui, reserved rooms at the same resort. The goal was simple: catch them together, document everything, then confront them publicly in a way that couldn't be denied or dismissed. Maximum impact, Sophia kept saying. They need to feel exposed, vulnerable, exactly how they made us feel. But the night before our departure, everything changed. I was meeting Sophia at our usual spot, a park bench near the waterfront, when I noticed she wasn't alone. A man stood near her, his posture aggressive, his voice carrying across the distance. Think you can just leave? We have contracts, Sophia. Legal obligations. Our contract is void if you breach the fidelity clause, she shot back. Fidelity clause? You've got to be kidding me. After everything we've... That's when he saw me approaching. The man, Daniel, I realized with a jolt, went silent, his eyes narrowing. He was younger than I expected, maybe mid-30s, with a kind of polished appearance that screamed expensive suits and gym memberships. But it was his expression that struck me, not guilt, but annoyance. Like we were inconveniences disrupting his carefully ordered life. So you're the husband, Daniel said, his tone almost amused. Sophia's been talking about you. Daniel, leave, Sophia commanded, but there was something in her voice, a familiarity that went beyond what she'd described. No, I think we should all talk, he continued, moving closer. Since apparently we're all invested in this situation. Tell me, did Sophia mention that she's the one who introduced me to Elena? That this whole thing was her idea? The world seemed to stop. What? I turned to Sophia, searching her face for denial. He's lying, she said, but her voice lacked conviction. Am I? Daniel pulled out his phone, scrolling through messages. Here. Text from Sophia, 6 months ago. There's a new attorney at your firm who'd be perfect for one of our arrangements. Elena. I've done research, unhappy marriage, ambitious, hungry for excitement. You should make a move. He turned the screen toward me. The message was there, exactly as he'd described. Sophia has always enjoyed orchestrating situations, Daniel continued. She gets bored easily. Regular relationships don't provide enough drama. So she creates complexity, introduces chaos. The engagement was her idea too. She thought it would be interesting to see if I could maintain parallel relationships. You're making me sound like a psychopath, Sophia said coldly. Aren't you, though? A little bit. Daniel's smile was cruel. Tell him about the others, Sophia. Tell him how many marriages you've inserted yourself into. I looked between them, trying to process. This was a game to you. My marriage, my life, it was entertainment. No, Sophia said forcefully. It started that way, maybe. I suggested Elena because I thought Daniel needed someone more sophisticated than his usual conquests. But then he actually fell for her. He stopped following our rules, stopped being honest with me. This stopped being an experiment and became a betrayal. So everything you told me was true, she insisted. Maybe my motivations weren't pure at the beginning, but the affair is real. The pain is real. They're really planning to run away together, to leave us both. That part isn't a game. Daniel laughed bitterly. Run away. Elena and I are colleagues who occasionally sleep together. That's it. Whatever Sophia's told you about us building a life together, that's a fantasy, not reality. You proposed we move in together, Sophia countered. I suggested it might be convenient since we work in the same building. You're the one who spun it into some romantic future. I felt sick, dizzy with the layers of deception unfolding before me. The Hawaii trip. Is that real? They both went quiet. It's real, Daniel finally admitted. But it's not what Sophia probably told you. Elena and I are both attending a legal conference in Maui. The firm is sending 12 attorneys. We requested rooms on different floors to avoid suspicion. But you'll still see each other, Sophia pressed. Sleep together. Continue your affair while he sits at home, oblivious. Is that true? I asked directly. Daniel met my eyes, and for the first time, something like shame crossed his face. Yes. Elena and I are having an affair. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not going to pretend it's more than it is. It's physical, it's exciting, and yes, it's wrong. But I haven't promised her anything beyond what we have now. Does Elena know that? I asked quietly. His silence was answer enough. I turned to Sophia, this woman I trusted, allied myself with. Why did you really approach me? What do you actually want? She looked away, toward the water, her profile sharp in the fading light. I wanted to hurt him. Daniel thinks he can manipulate everyone, control every situation. I wanted him to lose something that mattered. And if I could recruit you to help, to validate my sense of betrayal, that would be even better. So I was a pawn. We're all pawns, she said. To each other, to ourselves. The question is, does knowing my motivations change the fundamental truth? Your wife is cheating on you. Whether I nudged that situation into existence or not, Elena made her choices. She's lying to you every day. Does it matter why I told you? I didn't go to Hawaii. Neither did Sophia. But Elena did, and that week while she was gone, I made my decision. I hired a lawyer, a good one, recommended by a colleague who'd been through a similar situation. I documented everything Sophia had given me, everything I discovered independently, and everything Daniel had unwittingly confirmed during that waterfront encounter. My attorney was thorough, clinical, and reassuring in her competence. This is comprehensive evidence, she told me, reviewing the files. More than enough for divorce proceedings. And given the power dynamic at her workplace, her firm will want to settle any potential liability claims quickly and quietly. I don't want money, I said. I just want out. You should take the money, she advised. Trust me on that. When Elena returned from Hawaii, sun-kissed and relaxed, I was waiting in our living room with divorce papers on the coffee table. Her face went through several emotions in quick succession. Confusion, denial, fear, and finally, resignation. How long have you known? She asked, sinking into the chair across from me. Long enough. Does it matter? I suppose not. She looked at the papers without touching them. Who told you? Someone at work. Does that matter either? She laughed, a broken sound. No. I guess none of it matters now. Did you love me? I asked, the question escaping before I could stop it. Ever? Elena's eyes filled with tears. Yes. God. Yes. I loved you so much it terrified me. We got married young. Too young, maybe. And somewhere along the way, I got lost. I looked at my life and realized I'd never done anything unexpected, never taken risks, never felt that rush of newness. Daniel was. He made me feel exciting again. Desirable. Alive. So you blew up our marriage for a feeling. I blew up our marriage because I was too cowardly to tell you I was unhappy, she corrected. The affair was just a symptom. I should have talked to you, gone to counseling, been honest about what I needed. Instead, I chose the selfish route. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Her apology hung in the air. Part of me wanted to accept it, to believe that remorse could somehow heal what was broken. But I knew better. Did Daniel tell you about Sophia? I asked. Elena's expression shifted, guarded. What about her? Did he tell you that she orchestrated your affair? That she suggested you to him, researched you, essentially set you up? The color drained from her face. What? I explained everything. Sophia's revelation, Daniel's counter-revelation, the twisted game that had ensnared us all. With each detail, Elena seemed to shrink further into herself. He said she was crazy, Elena whispered. That she was an ex who couldn't let go. He made her sound pathetic, obsessive. I never thought. I didn't realize she was actually his fiancée. That they were still together. Did you think he'd leave her for you? I tried not to think about it, she admitted. It was easier to just exist in the bubble of our affair, not consider the future or the consequences. God, I've been such a fool. We both have been, I said, and I meant it. Sophia played us. Daniel played us. We played ourselves. Everyone's culpable here. What happens now? I gestured to the papers. You sign these. We divide assets equitably. The lawyer has suggestions. You might want to get your own attorney to review. And then you figure out what you want your life to look like without me in it. And Daniel. That's your decision. But you should know that I've documented everything, including the power dynamic at your firm. If you continue the affair, or if the firm doesn't handle this appropriately, I have grounds for a lawsuit that would damage both your careers. My lawyer suggested we'd settle for a significant sum and non-disclosure agreements. Elena nodded slowly, processing. You're going to ruin us financially. I'm going to receive compensation for the damage your choices caused. There's a difference. She picked up the papers finally, flipping through them. You've really thought this through. I had help. Sophia. Initially. Though I don't trust her motivations any more than I trust yours. Elena set the papers down, looking at me directly. For what it's worth, I never wanted to hurt you. I just wanted to feel something other than numb. That doesn't excuse what I did, but it's the truth. I know, I said, and I did. I understood that impulse, to shatter your life just to prove you're still capable of feeling. But understanding doesn't change the outcome. We're done, Elena. Whether or not you sign today, we're done. She signed. 6 months later, I sat in that same coffee shop where Sophia had first approached me, this time with genuine peace instead of desperate avoidance. The divorce was finalized. Elena had left Henderson and Associates after an internal investigation confirmed the affair and the ethical violations. Daniel had been quietly asked to take a leave of absence, corporate speak for being pushed out without the publicity of a firing. The firm had settled with me for an amount my lawyer gleefully called very agreeable. I'd bought a new apartment, started therapy, reconnected with friends I'd neglected during the slow dissolution of my marriage. Life wasn't perfect, but it was mine again, authentic and unencumbered by lies. I hadn't spoken to Sophia since that confrontation at the waterfront. But I thought about her sometimes, wondered if she'd found her next source of drama, her next game to orchestrate. Part of me pitied her. What kind of emptiness drives someone to manufacture chaos in other people's lives? Another part remained angry at how thoroughly I'd been manipulated. I was reflecting on this when she appeared, as if summoned by my thoughts. Sophia looked different, softer somehow, less sharply polished. She hesitated at my table, waiting for permission to sit. I don't think there's anything left to say, I told her. I know. I wanted to apologize. Properly. Apologize for setting up the affair, or for lying to me about your motivations. Both. All of it. She sat without invitation, her hands clasped tightly in front of her. I've been in therapy, working through why I do the things I do. Apparently, I have some control issues and a pathological need to create complexity as a defense mechanism against intimacy. That's very self-aware. It's a work in progress, she admitted. But I'm trying to understand why I hurt people. Why I hurt you. You didn't deserve to be used that way. I studied her, looking for signs of manipulation, another angle. But all I saw was exhaustion and what might be genuine remorse. Did you love him? Daniel. She considered the question carefully. I don't know if I'm capable of love the way other people experience it. What I felt for Daniel was possession, control, the satisfaction of having someone sophisticated enough to match my games. That's not love, that's something broken pretending to be love. What happened with you two? We're done. Completely. He's moved to another firm in another city. I heard he's dating someone age-appropriate and boring. Maybe that's what he needed all along, simplicity instead of chaos. And Elena? Last I heard, she's working in-house counsel for a tech startup, trying to rebuild her career. I don't know if she's seeing anyone. Sophia paused. Do you still love her? I thought about it, really thought about it. I love who she was, or who I thought she was. But that person was at least partly an illusion. We were kids playing at being adults, and neither of us knew how to be honest when things got hard. So no, I don't think I love her anymore. I'm just sad about all the time we wasted. Sophia nodded. For what it's worth, I am sorry. Not just for what I did to you, but for what I did to myself. All that energy spent manipulating and scheming when I could have just lived, been honest, tried to build something real. It's not too late, I offered, surprising myself. To build something real. Maybe not. She stood to leave, then paused. I know you have no reason to believe me, but meeting you changed something. Watching you decide to walk away with dignity instead of playing my revenge game, that struck me. You chose healing over hurting back. I'm trying to learn how to do that. After she left, I sat with my coffee growing cold, thinking about the strange journey from betrayal to this moment of unexpected grace. I couldn't forgive Sophia, not entirely, but I could acknowledge that we'd all been broken people making terrible choices, and that sometimes destruction is just destruction, not justice, not closure, just pain multiplying itself. The affair hadn't destroyed me. The manipulation hadn't destroyed me. If anything, being forced to confront the illusions I'd built around my marriage had liberated me. I'd learned that I could survive betrayal, that I was stronger than I'd believed, that starting over wasn't the catastrophe I'd feared but an opportunity. Elena had texted me once, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I hope you find someone who deserves you. I'm sorry I couldn't be that person. I hadn't responded, but I'd felt the sentiment settle something in my chest. Not forgiveness exactly, but a release of the anger I'd been carrying. As I left the coffee shop that afternoon, I realized I wasn't looking for someone new. I was learning to be someone new, someone who valued honesty over comfort, who could sit with difficult truths instead of avoiding them, who understood that love without integrity is just a beautiful lie. The stranger's revelation had shattered my world. But from those shattered pieces, I was building something more honest, more resilient, more real. And that, surprisingly, was enough.